Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, I'm well. Just enjoying a little green drink over here whilst you're fasting.
I am. I'm in the beginning of a 5-day fast. So first time I've ever done it, Tim.
I've done 3 days, or is it 2? Yeah. So
You always add an extra day, right? So my 5-day will become 10 when I tell a story.
yeah. So let's see how you go.
I'm gonna go great. I'm one of those people that works really well in extremes, right? It's kind of like the eye of the hurricane. I mean, it doesn't mean I perform great doing that, but I complete the challenge. You know,
That's just sheer pig-headedness, though, isn't it?
Oh, it totally is. I'm stubborn.
It's not the most sustainable model, but it moves the needle in short bursts.
No, yeah, it definitely does. But it's fun for me. I really enjoy it. Not the people around me; they don't enjoy it as often, but yeah. I do. Like, oh, you want to go jogging? Well, I'll just do a marathon. Forget it. Anyway, that's the way I am. To kind of know thyself, though, is what they say, right? Know thyself, and enjoy it and love it. I love that fact.
Love thyself.
Love thyself. I do. I love that about me. So, Tim, today I want to talk something about. We've talked about this quite a bit on the show before, but it comes up over and over and over again in conversations with the men, not only going through the program, but also the men in the free Facebook community. And it's when you stop caring, that's when the results start showing up. And what I mean by that is, guys are going through a tough time in their relationship with their partner, their wife specifically. And what they're trying to do is really work hard to get her back, right? To get back that little spark, the spark in the relationship, get her back into bed, get her, really they just want her to start noticing him more and more. And what they start doing is worrying about it, right? They start really paying attention. They start analyzing the situation. They start running to her, doing anything that she asks, trying to please her over and over and over again. And then when they do something, let's say they make dinner, right? They're going to make dinner, or they do the dishes, or whatever it is they're doing. They start watching her for the result, right? What's her reaction? I mean, what is she doing? How is she reacting to what I'm doing? And then they start gauging basically their self-worth and their next actions based on her reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So in saying so, I'm laughing at you because I can see you. In saying so, really what happens, guys, is when you go at this with engaged indifference, and you've heard me talk about this before if you've listened to the podcast, that's when you're engaged in the activity, but you're indifferent of the outcome. So an example could be, maybe I do the dishes or cook or whatever, but I don't care how my wife reacts. Or maybe I decide, hey, I'm going to go out with the guys, and I don't care what she has to say, right? I don't care what her reaction is, right? I don't care that, and not in a bad way, but I don't care what I'm doing and how that attracts her, how that brings her in, right? I stop caring about her reaction. That's what I'm trying to say, long-winded way of doing it. But I stop caring about her reaction. Then I start to create mystery. Then my wife starts to lean in towards me. Right? Because now I'm leading the relationship. I'm leading my life first, right? Then I'm leading the relationship, right? Tim, my wife doesn't even know I'm doing the fast, right? That's interesting. So she makes breakfast in the morning. She cooks all of the meals for our family. I just didn't eat. And she looked like, what's going on? I just didn't say anything. Took care, did my morning routine. But I'm creating mystery, right? It's going to come up, obviously. I'm planning on making dinner tonight. I'm going to make some steaks, reverse seared. Amazing. But I'm going to make one for her. And this is where you get create that mystery, right? That's in there. The same thing happens when you stop caring about the relationship. Stop caring about the reaction you're going to get. Kind of just do you.
Yeah. It's interesting as well. The added benefit of this is that, it's kind of what you're talking about, right? It's like the concept in business of under promise, over deliver. It's kind of a similar thing in a relationship, right? When you just keep doing you, the less you talk about what you're going to do, and the less you big up your achievements, or the less you big up your plans, the easier it is to over deliver on those as well. But yeah, it's really interesting when you when you do stop caring about the results, because often the caring about the result, whether it's your wife in the relationship or even in business, for the most part, is it's a symptom of living from the outside in, right? Requiring something from the outside of you to fill you up. Whether it's in business, you're requiring to hit a certain milestone, a certain revenue goal, and then you'll feel proud, and then you'll be able to walk into the door and your wife will admire you, and then you'll feel like you're the man or whatever. But when you actually live from the inside out, by default, you stop caring about the results, and you really learn to appreciate that the journey is the destination. And another big shift there is when you move from the path of force by default, which is the outside in, to the path of power, which is inside out. Because at the same time, in doing so, you move from being pushed by pain to being pulled by pleasure, right? And when you're pulled by pleasure and you're on that path of power, realizing that the journey is the destination, you feel full anyway, right? You feel full along the way. So you don't need anything. You don't need the result. You recognize that the result is just a point in time that will come and go, and you can continue going. Same in the relationship, right? You don't need the acknowledgement of your wife that you've done the dishes or you've taken the bins out to feel like you are then loved by her and wanted by her or desired by her, because you are loved and desired and wanted by yourself anyway. So, which by default means that your cup is full and the overflow can then flow into the people around you. And again, a byproduct of that, like you were saying, is you feel much less of a need to talk about what you're doing. You feel much less of a need to overplay what it is you're doing as well. You might still talk about it, but it comes from a very different place. It doesn't come from a hypey, insecure, look at me kind of place. It comes from a, hey, this is what I'm up to. I'm just going to share, regardless of what your reaction's going to be. And yeah, it's very attractive to be in. It feels, we've all been around guys like that, right? And I don't know about you, but whenever I've been around people like that, it draws me in, because I just gravitate more, because the person feels humble and secure and calm, and it's just a great energy to be in.
Yeah. What I think happens here is when you stop caring whether your wife or whatever likes you, whether she's paying attention to you, whether she admires you still, you start to focus more on your purpose, right? And there's nothing sexier for a woman than a man that's on purpose, right? He knows his mission. He knows what he's doing. He's leading. He's leading from the front. He's leading the pack, right? And then she starts, kind of chasing you a little bit when you stop chasing her, right? It's a different kind of avenue. It's a different energetic feeling in a very feminine way. She's going to start wanting to know, hey, what's up? What's going on here? And that's what happens a lot, for these guys that are out there when they're caring so much whether their wife is going to like them for the actions that they do, whether she's going to all of a sudden start appreciating him or looking at him in a different way because he's doing all these things. She knows right away that you're doing them just to please her. She knows you're doing them for a result, and it's kind of like almost having a pet. Now she's got a dog, right? And maybe she wanted a cat, right? But at the end of the day, it's being on mission, right? Being on your purpose, doing what it is you do, what you like to do, like you right now, Tim. It's in the late afternoon there in Leeds, and you're doing what's on your purpose, your mission, right? You're doing the podcast, you're working on the movement for the powerful man, and you're on purpose. And so to Amelia, your partner, that's going to be attractive, right? And women are going to try to sway you from your purpose, right? They're going to tell you, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be taking more care of me. Really what they're going to do is test you. Now, for a lot of guys that are out there, they're in a problem within their marriage or the relationship, and they're trying to fix it by pleasing their wife, right? Making sure what they do and then checking for her reaction. Does she like this? Is she going to start liking me more, appreciating me more? And really they're hoping that there's going to be a connection that might lead to, blowjobs in the morning, right? But they're so far away from that. They're trying so hard to please that they're off the mission. They're off their life's purpose. And they've been rocked so hard. Now they're a beta. They're following their wife's lead. The wife is leading. That's not natural. So now she can't trust her husband or a man, right? Because he can't lead. Then how is he going to protect her and the family and the kids financially, emotionally, or what have you? So then she has to look outside. Now, she may not look outside for another man. She may look outside to her girlfriends or to something else, but she's certainly not looking to you. And this is why when you stop caring, you start attracting your woman back into your life.
I think an important point here is this isn't about being cocky or arrogant or, any of those things. Because I speak to some guys who, when I ask them what have they tried to reconnect with their wife or, whatever, repair the marriage, some might say, well, I've read some books and I've tried that whole approach of, playing hard to get. And this isn't about playing hard to get, because by default, playing hard to get is still caring about the outcome because you've got an agenda behind it, right? You're playing hard to get in order to draw her in. I think an important point here is when you stop caring about the results, it's not because there's an agenda behind it. Your intention isn't to draw her in. It's just, a byproduct of it. There'll be many other byproducts of it as well. You'll sleep better. You'll become more productive in work. You'll have more energy. You will be happier. You'll work out better. You'll eat better. There'll be tons of other benefits that go with it too. I think that's a really important distinction to mention. It's not about becoming cocky or arrogant or playing hard to get.
Yeah, and it's not about being a jerk. When I say you don't care, when you stop caring, I'm not saying you stop caring about your wife, your kids, your family. I'm not saying that at all. So I don't want that to be lost here, right? You just stop caring about the reaction you're getting. You stop trying to please just to get a reaction is what I'm talking about here.
I think another way to even rephrase it is you start prioritizing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You start prioritizing your needs and your desires in and out of the relationship, which by default fills you up. So you just feel great. So it's irrelevant about the results because you're not going to need the results to come in order to feel great because you already feel it. Again, living from the inside out.
No, it's exactly what it is. It's taking care of self first and in not worrying about the consequence. Again, engaged in difference, right? So I feel like we're going in circles here a little bit, but I went for a run this morning, right? I just said, hey, I'm going to go out. I didn't go for a run to please my wife. I went for a run this morning because I wanted to go for a run to enjoy myself. And I came back in. My wife said, oh, I saw you running. It looked sexy. I didn't do it for her, right? I did it for me. And that's why it was sexy. That's why.
Whenever you're running, have you seen that episode of Friends where
No.
Phoebe goes running with one of the, oh my God. Do you watch Friends?
No.
Just check out this clip on YouTube, right? Just type in
you find Phoebe, it, send it to me.
Phoebe, I will. Phoebe running on Friends. It's how I imagine you running. Reason why is because you talked the other day about, when I run, I have fun. I jump over logs. I do all these things. And I'm just imagining Erin watching you doing this kind of run. And when you see the clip on YouTube, it's funny. Please tell me you run like that. But anyway, we digress.
We always do. So, this is what we talk about off air, let alone on air. Lots of trash talking. That's how you tell you like somebody. So going back to this, right, you find yourself in this position where you're disconnected, right, with your wife, and you're trying to win her back, really, right? You're trying to win her back and get her back in your corner. Something's happened. There's been a shift and she just doesn't seem happy and you're trying to please her, yet what you're doing just isn't working. It's not getting you where you want to go. I'm going to throw out there that start taking care of yourself, right? Engaged in difference, start taking care of yourself and stop worrying about her reaction of what makes her happy. Because you're not responsible for making anybody happy except for yourself, right? You have no responsibility there. Now, be a great man, be a great husband, but don't take actions just because you want to get your wife to do something, right? You just want her reaction. You just want to win her over. When you're taking care of yourself, right, flipping it over, that's when things really work. That's when things work the best.
Yeah, it just reminds me on Friday. So Friday, Amelia had a hair appointment, right? And she was late, as she always is. You think I'm late sometimes, Doug? This is another level. You would be triggered to shit if you had meetings with Amelia. So a few days prior, she was going to go past somewhere which she needs to return, where I need to return something. So I asked her to do it. Anyway, she's late, rushing out the door. I said, "Oh, have you got that thing I asked you to return?" She's like, "Oh God!" So she goes and gets it. Gets in a car, drives to the hair place, calls me up, and she said, "I have forgotten she forgotten something?" And she started blaming me. She said, "I've forgotten it because you asked me if I'd remembered your thing, and you asked me to go and get it from you. So it's your fault. If you wouldn't have asked me, then I wouldn't have forgot a parcel. I wouldn't have forgotten my parcel to post." And she started going off and wanted me to apologize. And I'm like, no, I'm not taking responsibility for the fact that you've forgotten something and that you're late for your appointment. Do you ever think that, your brother coming around and you coming downstairs and talking with him might have contributed to you being late? No. It was you. I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, I can't believe you're not going to apologize. This is so hard. And I'm like, listen, if I'm not apologizing. So if you calling me for an apology, you're going to be waiting a long time. So 10 minutes later, she phones me back. I have forgotten my trainers. I've pulled up and I don't have anything for my feet. And by this point, she was fuming because obviously, she's already triggered. Now she has nothing to put on her feet to walk through the city centre to get to the hairdresser. Again, she wants an apology. And again, I refuse to give her an apology because it's not my responsibility. I said, my intention was never to make you late. It's not my responsibility. And, anyway, so I ended up hanging up the phone because she was going off and going off and going off. And she tried ringing me again, and I just cancelled it and said, look, I'm not going to talk to you if you're going to talk to me like that. When you've calmed down and if you're ready to talk to me nicely, I'll talk to you. But just like you wouldn't tolerate me talking to you like that, I'm not going to tolerate you talking to me like that. And left it there. Years ago, I would have wanted to save her, for sure. Years ago, I would have wanted to, shall I bring the trains down for you? And, I would have tried even rearranging things, which would have then got me into stress in my own day, right?
Yep.
But point being, it's very easy to, it used to be very easy to want to step into that place and care about the result and apologize and appease and save her and get rid of the confrontation, get rid of the tension because I cared about getting laid when she got home or whatever it was, right? But obviously, that just pushes her further away. Turns out she got home this Friday and I was in between, our meetings, went downstairs and she was sat there. I just walked up to her and just laughed at her and gave her a kiss on her head and didn't say anything and walked back off and she was laughing as well. So it's, again, it's very, if you're listening to this, I think that's a great place for you to just check yourself. If you're having conversation with your wife or there's conflict going on and you're feeling the need to save or jump in, like you were saying, this is a great place for you to just check why. Why are you doing that? Is it because you are caring about the results? What might happen if you just held back and not even said anything? And like Doug said, just realize that, look, you're not responsible for her happiness or her mood. She's responsible for that. When you're able to let go of that, not only does it free you, also frees her as well to be able to, save herself.
Yeah, and I think it's super important. And, just to be clear, there's a fine line, guys, between doing this and being a dick, right? You don't want to be a jerk, so there's a fine line with that. And I don't think you were at all being a jerk, Tim. But at the same time, your woman's going to test you a lot. It's going to happen. And when does it stop? It never, ever stops. However, when you're doing things, right, you're doing things just to please her, just to make her happy consistently, and you find it's not working, this is time to really check yourself and check into this and really look at it and see what your role is. And you kind of use a litmus test, right? Am I going to be a jerk about this? So if my wife asked me, could you go down and grab the laundry, right? If that's a reasonable request, I'm going to go do it, right? I'm going to tap into myself. However, if I'm going out for a run, my wife says, hey, I want you to watch the kids so I can go read, whatever. No, I'm not going to forsake my time and what I planned on doing so she could have her time. Now, sometimes I do it if we agree upon it, right? It's a relationship. But if it's just a whim, I had a run plan, she knew about it, and she just all of a sudden wants to go do something or what have you, I'm not going to drop all of my plans to cater to her. I wouldn't do it for you, Tim. I wouldn't do it for you, the listener, or anybody else, right? So it applies in general. I'm going to take care of me. This is my time. This was planned. This was communicated properly. So now I'm going to move forward. And so I think that's a great litmus test to look at, right? To make sure you're not being a jerk. Communication's incredibly. It doesn't mean I just all of a sudden get up and go out whenever I want to and do whatever. One of our guys, Franco, was talking about how his grandfather, used to just come home from work, take a nap on the couch, and then go out to the pub with the guys every night, right? His mom grandma took care of everything. I'm not that guy, right? So I'm helping out around the house. I do all those kinds of things. However, when I have something planned or there's something I want to do, my wife will often test me, like maybe she wants to go out with her girlfriends, even though it was guys' night. I don't forsake guys' night just so she could all of a sudden go out with the girls. There's some trades here and there, but you don't want to be just a pushover, guys. And that's what kind of we're talking about here. So Tim, give these guys, let's wrap up and give these guys, a couple action steps they can do so they can take some action right now in their lives and actually test this out to make sure it works for them.
You definitely get to start saying no a lot more, in my opinion. In my experience, yes is used way too much. And guys end up having their life filled with a load of projects, people, places that they don't want. And it's all because they've said yes when they really wanted to say no. So the first action step that I'd invite you to take is to really start to notice when a request is being made of you, how it feels. Does it feel heavy or light? And the second thing is to then say yes to what feels light and no to what feels heavy. And the third step is to resist the urge to save other people around you, whether it's your wife or your staff or whoever. Resist the urge to save people. Don't get sucked into their story and their drama, and just leave them to figure it out on their own, for the most part, unless they ask you for your assistance. At which point you can still choose to say yes or no, depending on whether it feels light or heavy.
Absolutely. And guys, just so many guys that reach out to us privately through our chats and what have you. You're going through this situation, don't become a lapdog where, you're trying to cater. It just doesn't end well. It never, ever ends well, guys. Now is the time to take action and take stock of where you're doing this. And if you find yourself doing this or you've been doing it, just take a pause. Don't beat yourself up. And now it's time to start taking care of yourself, right? It's time to start really taking care of you. If you want, the Live Like a King system is a great way of doing it. Go over to the Facebook group and just type Live Like a King, and one of the guys will get that to you. And of course, we also have the Reignite cheat sheet. Just head over to thepowerfulman.com/bonus. We got that one back up there for you guys. So it is the Reignite cheat sheet. Help reignite your relationship. All right, gentlemen, that's it. As always, take action, and we'll see you next time on The Powerful Man Show.